Everybody. So we are in the sixth chapter of Ecclesiastes. Let me tell y'all, this chapter to me was a little bit, I mean, all of this meaningless. I don't know if I really ever looked at Ecclesiastes the way I'm looking at it now. So maybe God is telling me something. I don't know. But chapter six was, I don't know if it was depressing. I don't know if it was sad, but it just had me looking at life, and looking at the end of life. And I don't really like to look at the end of life. I talk to a lot of people on a regular basis in my real job about the other side of life, and so I don't know, but that's the thing about God. He wants you to know that this life is not going to be forever. And so Ecclesiastes helps you come there. And I guess it's because King Solomon is at the end of his, he's looking at the end of his life, and he's just looking at everything, and he's looking at it from the opposite end. So we look at life from the end of, okay, I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna get older, and I'm gonna do this, when I get older, when I grow up. But at some point you're gonna look at life from the opposite end. When I was young, I did this. When I was in my teens, I did this. When I was in my 20s. So I guess I'm just getting grown. And so as a Gen Xer, I guess I'm looking at this like, ugh, I guess I'm not 20 anymore. Anyway, so King Solomon reflects on the frugality of wealth, success, and even long life when they lack true enjoyment from God. So, to live a life and to live with all the things you live with your life, and you don't have God, your life has been meaningless. Okay, so a person who may have riches, honor, and many children, but still feel empty if God it does not grant them the ability to enjoy these blessings. Okay, Solomon emphasizes that satisfaction is not found in material abundance or human achievement, but in contentment and gratitude for what God provides. So you could it's important to have accomplishments, but those are things you cannot take with you, right? So what is important to know? It's important to know that I have riches, but I have nothing without God. I have all these children, and I want to, you want to leave something for them, but know that sometimes they're not going to take value in the things that you took value in. So you can leave all of this, if you have children, he gave an example in the scripture. You have children, and you've worked hard, and you have children, and they don't even bury you properly. Okay, or the example is you have children and you've worked hard, and then they take all of your money that you worked hard for and just blew it. What is that? That's meaningless, but you have no control over that. Isn't that sad to work so hard? You see it every day. People work so hard. You would look at like entertainers and people that, you see every day on TV, actors and actresses and, athletes. And then they leave a legacy for their kids, and their kids just squander it. Or, like some people have passed away, they can get all of those royalties and all that type of stuff, and they didn't have no will. So where did that money go? That's meaningless. That's crazy, right? So a popular scripture for Ecclesiastes 6 is 6 and 2. God gives someone wealth, possessions, and honor so that they lack nothing their heart desires, but God does not grant them the ability to enjoy them. Okay, and strangers enjoy them instead. This is meaningless. Isn't that depressing and evil? That is I don't know. This scripture, I have been listening. I've been just eating the scripture and listening to others take on it, and I'm just like, you want to raise your kids better, right? You got to raise your kids right. They gonna take all your stuff and squander it away, and then be homeless. That's crazy. That's foolish business. So takeaways from this chapter is wealth without contentment is empty. Okay, true joy comes from God, not from material possessions. Number 2, life is short and earthly pursuits are temporary. Even long life prosperity is meaningless without God. So if you got all that and you ain't got the Lord, meaningless. Okay, human desire is endless without contentment. They're always chasing after more but never satisfied, and you see it every day. They just want more, more, more. They ain't satisfied. I mean, it's just like eating And who want to eat and not get full? Okay, true fulfillment is a gift from God. Okay, so we want contentment, but we have to realize that with God there's contentment. Did you know that? Only with God will you be content. You'll be out here just eating, 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 and ain't full. That's not good. That's not wise. That's not wisdom. Okay, so practical lessons. How do we apply this? We need to take gratitude every day. Focus on enjoyment that you have rather than longing for what you don't. Okay, just stay in the here and the now. Okay, do we want to practice goals? Yeah, but you want God to be in those goals. So if God ain't in it, it's meaningless. Okay, meaningless. Seek God's guidance over ambition. Okay, live with an internal perspective. Think about life eternally, okay, not internally, eternally. Okay, so we think about God, life with the Lord, honey, resting with the Lord. All right, be content with enough. Okay, sometimes that's all you're gonna get is just a little bit, just a little cheese on your burger. That is, you got a burger with cheese, and that's it, and that's good. That's a hot light, right? So, look at it that way. Learn to recognize that you have enough rather than endless striving for more, more, more. So, our affirmation for this scripture is I choose contentment and gratitude. I trust God to provide not only for my needs, but also the joy to enjoy his blessings. Okay, we need to joy that this is what I got, and I need to be grateful for what I got. And I stop looking at what other people got. What she got? What she got? No, this is what you got. You be telling your kids, stop focusing on what they got. You better be over here, because I ain't got what they got. I got what I got, and you gonna enjoy what I got. All right? Okay, so that is our takeaway for Ephesians 6. Hopefully this gets better. I don't know. Maybe it's just the day I'm having today. But I really want to, for me, I want to be a little bit more grateful. So I think that's what it is for me. I just need to be a little bit more grateful. I don't know how you feel about this information and how grateful you are. I want you all to read Ecclesiastes 6, or just let me know what you think about, the nugget that I got for you. And if you also are feeling some kind of way like me. If not, we need to work on ourselves. That's all. That's what I get from this. My takeaway, girl. Maybe you ain't grateful enough. So that's what it is. All right, y'all. Everybody.